Hello and welcome to the Stress Management, Art Therapy, and Mental Disorder Awareness After School Program Town Hall. The agenda for today's Town Hall meeting is a welcome and introduction. Our speaker today is Stephanie Stewart. What is the problem that we're looking at? How this is affecting our community? And how are we going to change this problem? At the end of this town hall, I will have a slide of information for contact information for myself as well as our school board. So I will implement a voluntary after-school program focusing on improving students' stress management skills, psychological problems, awareness, treatment options, and art therapy. Then I'll measure students' progress by completing a survey every 6 months, concurrently reducing the number of behavioral-related incidents by 20% at Centennial Junior High by August 2020. Now for me, I was able to cope through a lot of stress by using art therapy. I went through 2 deaths in the family and a divorce right on top. So in order to get through it, I started painting, and that was tremendously helpful to me. So I want to spread that. So stress can definitely hinder cognitive development. So 12 studies examined changes in mental health symptoms of adolescents. 8 of these studies examined internalizing symptoms only. Of all students that reported on internalizing symptoms, only one of these reported a consistent improvement in mental health in recent decades. A Scottish study utilized 4 questions from the Health Behaviors Among School Children study, incorporating confidence, helplessness, feeling left out, and feeling about life. So being able to solve problems and make decisions will be hindered if students end up internalizing the issues that they're going through. What this program is aimed for is to eliminate internalizing these mental health issues. So on the right of the screen is a list of some side effects. On the left, I want you guys to see this. Mental health problems affect 10 to 20% of children and adolescents worldwide. Why are we not talking about this? To me, I'm amazed that, he's stressed or he has this kind of mental disorder. That is still taboo. And you guys, we see it daily. The people are over-medicated, and it's something that needs to be handled in a different way. So what I propose is having this after-school program where students can paint, draw, talk about their issues, and really focus on treatment. And here's a little flow chart here so you can see. This is just a nice way to be able to put everything into perspective. But this video is the next thing that I want to show you guys, and I feel like you'll really like.
Stress is usually seen as something we need to avoid. This is not true. We need stress, and we need our body's stress hormone cortisol to rise and fall throughout the day. Stress helps us wake up in the morning, helps us focus, learn, and remember new things. It's when people experience too much stress and start having difficulties coping that stress becomes a problem. High levels of stress can disrupt the natural changes in the body's stress response system and start to affect our physical and mental health. Over time, accumulated stress can result in false FFF response activations. When trying to measure our stress tolerance, the bucket analogy can be helpful. Our stress tolerance, or the size of our bucket, is a product of our genes, personality, and life experiences, and its size varies from person to person. The water in this analogy is the combination of all the stress in your life. We use the coping strategies we have available to keep our bucket from overflowing. They are like taps that allow water to drain from the bucket. Stress can include training, work, school, relationships, finances, moving, changing jobs, or the loss of a loved one. Both positive and negative experiences will affect the water level. A big bucket can hold more water or stress before it overflows. With a smaller bucket, less water is required for the water or stress level to become critical. While you can't change the size of your bucket, you can make life adjustments to reduce water coming in. You can also learn new coping strategies and stress management techniques to allow water to drain out.
So with this program, what I would do is have students create artwork, and then that would help them create their outlet.
Mind tools, exercise, quality sleep, relaxation, and sharing your feelings with friends are some examples of effective water taps. Staying up late, sleeping in, drugs, inactivity, procrastination, suppressing or ignoring problems are examples of unhelpful coping strategies or false taps. They might give temporary relief, but actually result in water flowing back into your bucket.
So mental disorders, they do affect emotional and social development because the students are no longer willing to be able to interact with others in a somewhat normal way. So with this, having an after-school program, the students can just go, be themselves, create some wild art, and talk about their emotions. Social connections are hindered because, again, they're internalizing. Students are too embarrassed to talk about what's going on, so instead they're just going to keep it inside of them. So with me, like I said before, art has helped me to get over my stresses and let it out in ways that I couldn't say how I felt. I just drew it and painted it, and that really helped me out. So the goal for me is to make it as normal as possible as I can to talk about mental disorders and talk about stress, because we are all stressed out, everybody in their own levels. But sometimes for some students, it's just way too much for them to handle. So it's best for us to be able to talk about it and explain how we're doing. So with this, during the after-school program, I plan on taking a survey every 6 months to measure the development and progress of the students. So in this slide, what it's pretty much saying is it's not that we have a lot more people having mental disorders. It's just more people are internalizing and they're too afraid to talk about it. So they're too embarrassed. They have no clue about how to deal with it, and students really don't know how or where to turn. So with my program, I'll have just your plain literature, your trifolds. I'll have worksheets, but I'll also have communication and an artistic outlet, and students to be able to converse with other students about it freely and not worry about how they're going to come off.
I'm Deb Shoemaker, and I'm an art therapist with Integrated Therapy Associates, and I would like to talk with you a little bit today about art therapy and children who have depression. Usually I have talked to their parent or guardian or whoever the adult is taking care of them, and so it will possibly, most likely, already be identified that they have depression. If not, I will do the first session a kind of assessment, and that would look like just having them create self-directed drawing. And again, I'm looking for indicators of depression, which are little or just one use of color or using a pencil, like pressure on the pencil or marker, making very small images, making self symbols that are very small or in compromised settings, like there might be or just a little tiny figure for self, and maybe a dinosaur that's huge or a dragon or something that's just feels overwhelming. Or there might be lots of clouds and raindrops. So I'll be looking for those kind of graphic indicators in the beginning to sort of assess. And then for treatment, one of the things I do with my children that I work with is talk about the metaphor of finding a silver lining behind the dark cloud. And we actually cut out dark clouds, and I have aluminum foil for the silver lining clouds. And then we work together on naming what's a dark cloud and giving it a name. And then we work together to think, well, what was the good thing that came from that? And so that's to help them just restructure the way they see things. So things aren't always the glass half empty or everything's dark and gloomy. So part of that is a practice and a skill, and just learning how to look at things differently. And that might be one of the ways I work with someone in art therapy who has depression.
So the next steps that I need to do is research and understand the benefits and the need for a change, and this is for the entire community. Explain the idea and concept to the community, which is what I'm doing today. Create a team, go to the school board for approval, register as a nonprofit, fundraise, and apply for grants. Find teachers, art therapists, and psychologists who are willing and able to take the time to participate in the after-school program, recruit more parent help, and then, of course, I want to expand to other schools in the district, in the city, and in the state. So I'm asking you guys today to help me spread my vision and my message. I'm not going to change any laws or policies or regulations. Today I am trying to create an after-school program where students can feel comfortable with talking about their mental health status, stress, concerns, and questions. So I do need your help. In the back of this room today, there is a sign-up sheet so you can add yourself onto my newsletter, and you can also volunteer. In the newsletter, I'll have dates and times of other meetings and events. And here is a slide of contact information. This on the top part is my contact information. You can reach me through cell phone, my email address, and then also on the bottom part, you can see the Crane School District School Board information. I want to thank everyone for being here today, and please thank you for supporting me as I go to this journey to create this program, this after-school program for our kids, and have them have a healthy outlet. Thank you guys.